Alright, this is 2023 academic year. Yes, this is a new year. I congratulate you upon passing through the previous year, 2023. 2022. This is your teacher once again, my dear candidates, my new candidates. This is your teacher Hakim, as usual, and I'm going to be taking you through science, integrated science, as well as mathematics primary 7, all through the primary course. What is required of you is to just subscribe to our channel, YouTube channel, and also subscribe to our website, that is website revisionug.com. As usual, it's your teacher, Teacher Hakim. In this lesson, we are going to look at electricity and magnetism. This is topic number 2 in primary 7 under the theme of matter and energy. Yes, under the theme of matter and energy. So as we get started, we have to understand what does the term electricity mean. So as you are seeing over the screen, this is our word electricity. The word is electricity. The word is electricity. Now, this word electricity comes from a certain word, and this word is called an electron. Yes, an electron. So we have to first go back to primary 5 and we understand what does the term an atom mean. So the term an atom, this is the word atom. So an atom is a particle of matter, or is a smallest particle. So it is very small, smallest particle of matter. But as it is very small, it takes part in a chemical reaction. So an atom is a smallest particle of matter that takes part in a chemical reaction. So that takes part in a chemical reaction. So that is an atom. Now when we look at these atoms, matter is made up of atoms. So we have states of matter like gases, we have gaseous form, liquid forms, and also solids. So all those things are made up of matter, and that matter is made up of an atom. So this atom, it has particles. It has what we call particles, and these particles are 3 in number. Now the first particle is called an electron, that is number 1. Then the second one is called the proton. Then the third one is called the neutron. So these are the 3 other smallest charges, or the charges that are found inside the atom. Now this atom has parts. Parts of this atom. 1, there is the part which we call the nucleus, the center. Then again, the nucleus is surrounded by rings, and these rings we call them the orbits. Then let me take a simple diagram of this of this atom. Now if I'm to draw, this is my center of the atom, this one is the center. Then around this center we are having the orbits. Now these circles here are what we call the orbits. Now this is the nucleus, and now these rings here are what we call the orbits. Now what is found in the nucleus? Now in the nucleus of this atom are either making up water molecule, oxygen, nitrogen, any solid, copper, any metal. Now inside the nucleus we are having particles, and these particles are 2 in number. Now one of the particles we are having are the neutrons inside the nucleus, neutrons, and again 2 we are having what we call the protons. Now they carry charges, they have signs. Now the protons carry the positive sign, and the neutrons do not carry any sign. So neutrons are uncharged, whereas protons are positively charged. Then on the rings here we are having the third one, and the third one is what we call an electron. And electrons carry negative charges. So electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged, then neutrons are not charged. So both protons and neutrons are found within the nucleus. Then on the rings here, this is where we are finding what we call the electrons, and electrons charge negatively. Now what should we know about electrons? These electrons are mobile. Electrons are mobile. What do I mean by the term mobile? it means that these electrons do what? Move. So as they are moving, that's what we call mobility. So if you look at this one, now this is the ring, and now we are having the electron. Now these electrons are going to keep on moving. Now as these electrons are moving and are found within matter, so they are going to produce a form of energy. Now that form of energy that's going to be produced by these electrons that are moving within a certain matter is what we call electricity. Therefore, when we are defining the term electricity, we just say that electricity is a form of energy. Is a what? Is a form of energy. So electricity is a form of energy. So electricity is a form of what? A form of energy. So electricity is a form of energy that involves or that deal with. So that deals with the charges. So electricity is a form of energy that deals with the charges, and these charges are basically there are two. We have the protons and electrons. However, we have the neutrons, but protons and neutrons are found within the nucleus of this. Now if we relate what we have drawn here with this one, so what we are seeing, this is the nucleus, the center part. Then we have the positively charged particles, and these are what we call the protons. Now we have these ones that are not having any charge, so we call them the neutrons. Now we have the orbits, the rings. Now these orbits, they are carrying negative charges. Now these negative charges we're seeing. Now as these negative charges are moving like this, rotating around, then they are having a form of energy. They are producing energy. Remember we said energy is the ability to do work. Now that energy they are producing, because the electrons moving, so the movement of electrons, or when we have electrons being involved in a certain form of energy to be produced, then that form of energy is called electricity. Therefore, electricity is a form of energy that deals with the charges. That deals with the charges, or that works with the charges. That is what we call, or that is what we meant by electricity. So, my dear student, my dear candidate, they will ask you to define electricity. So, electricity is a form of energy that deals with the charges. It deals with what? Charges. Then they tell you to name the charges. We've seen the charges there are two. We have electrons, we have protons, and the neutrons. What are protons? Protons are positive charges. The neutrons, electrons are negative charges. The neutrons are uncharged. So that is what we call electricity. Now, my dear candidate, we need to understand how does this form of energy move. I suppose we have our metal, and this is the metal I have drawn. Now, this metal, remember we say it is an atom. It is matter, and being matter, it has atoms, and we say that an atom is the smallest particle of matter that takes part in a chemical reaction. Now this particle of matter, this atom, has charges, and we've said how many charges are they? There are three. We have the neutrons that don't have any charge, we have electrons that charge negatively, and protons. But these neutrons and these protons are found within the center. That's why in the center I'm going to put plus. Now because they have rings, as we have drawn, let me draw it once again here. Now we have these rings here. Now because now here we have protons, now here we have the dots I'm putting, therefore electrons. Okay, let me use letter E. Now these electrons are moving, they are mobile. Now suppose we have another and here electrons, then again we can get another and here like this one, electrons. Now as there are very many, as they are moving, they can fall off what we call the ring. As they are moving, circulating like this one, it can fall off the ring, this one can fall off the ring, this one can fall off the ring, meaning that now this atom remains with the positive charges, and here we are having negative what? Charges. I think I'm understood. Now when you pass a voltage, a force, now that force will make these electrons be pushed from this part A, then to come to part B of the what? Of the metal. So as they are flowing, they are coming this way, they are coming with a energy, and that energy they are coming with is what we call electricity. So this one can be a metal, this one can be anything which can conduct electricity. So as it has atoms, and those atoms have electrons, then electrons fall off the rings, then we call them delocalized electrons. We call them delocalized electrons, meaning that they have lost their positions, now they are in space. Now when you give them an external force, which we call the voltage, then they are going to be forced to move from part A to part B. Thus now they are moving with what we call energy, or they are coming with the energy from this part A to part B. Therefore electricity is now flowing. My dear candidate, am I understood? Good of you. We will say that electricity is a form of energy that deals with the charges. Good. Now we have seen what are those charges and how do those charges move to make that form of energy move from one point to another. Okay, good of you. Now let us look at what we call some terms used when we are talking about this form of energy. Sometimes used in electricity. Then we are going to start with our first term, and this first term is called electric current. The term is called electric current. Now what is an electric current? Now an electric current is the flow of electric charges. Electric current is the flow of electric charges. Is the flow of electric charges. Now for instance, now if this is my metal like this one, as I've drawn the particles there, then we have the negatives. Now if this electron moves from this point to this one, then from here it comes here, then from there joins here, then from here continues here. Now as these charges are moving from one part to another, we say it is electric current. Current means in motion. Now what is moving? The charges that produce electricity. So electric current refers to the flow of electric charges. Always when I say electric current, then I mean now electrons are flowing. At one time you can also be seeing the protons move, but these protons, it is rare for them to come out of the nucleus. But now what we are having in common that flows, those are the electrons. Then term number two. Term number two is a conductor. So a conductor is a solid substance. A conductor is a solid substance. A conductor is a solid substance that allows electric charge, that allows the flow of electric current, or that allows electric current to pass through it. So that is what we mean by a conductor. So anything to be called a conductor, it has to be a solid, and being a solid, it has to allow current to pass through it. So examples of these conductors, we can take the metals, all metals like copper, we can take metals like zinc, and then we have metals like iron, we have metals like aluminium. So later on we shall discuss conductors in details. Then after that we are going to look at another term, and this term is called insulator. This term is an insulator. So an insulator is a solid substance. So an insulator is a solid substance. So an insulator is a solid substance that does not allow electric current to pass through it. So the opposite of conductor is an insulator. For example, rubber. We shall understand this one also. Rubber, then we have plastic, then we have dry wood. So those ones are the examples of insulators. Remember we said a conductor is a solid substance that allows electric current to pass through it, whereas an insulator is a solid substance that does not allow electric current to pass through it. Then we have another term, and this term is going to be resistance. This term is going to be a resistance. Now, as we've said that, if we come back here, we've said that these electrons are flowing, but as they are flowing, they are going to find some difficulty in moving from one part to another. Now, as they are having that difficulty, then that difficulty they are finding, that is what we call resistance. How much force? Because we want them to move from one point to another point, but as they are flowing through this conductor, they are finding resistance difficult to move. Then that is what we call resistance. So resistance is the measure. Resistance is the measure of the difficulty. Is the measure of the difficulty. Let me write it here. Is the measure of the difficulty. Is the measure of the difficulty to pass an electric current. To pass an electric current through a conductor. Electric current through a conductor. So that is the resistance. We've said, we've started with electricity, and we've said electricity is a form of energy that deals with the charges, and we've looked at the charges: electrons, protons, and neutrons. Neutrons are uncharged, protons are positively charged, electrons are negatively charged, and the electrons that are mobile, so they can move and they can fall off the orbits, which we call delocalization. Then we've looked at this the terminologies. One, we've started with electric current, and we've said that electric current is the flow of electric charges. Then a conductor is a solid substance that allows electric current to pass through it. Then insulators, they are solids that do not allow current or electric current to pass through it. Then resistance, that is when we see current is flowing, or when the charges are flowing, then they get difficult in flowing. Now, how much force? The force which is preventing them from flowing, that is what we call resistance. So resistance is the measure of difficult to pass an electric current through, to pass it through a conductor. Okay, my dear students, my dear candidates, this is revision ug.com. We are taking our second topic in primary 7, that is electricity and magnetism. Now, let us look at uses of electricity. Now, let us look at the uses of electricity. This form of energy is very, very useful one. Electricity is used in lighting houses. Lighting houses, like at home. When it is dark, you just switch on, then the bulbs produce light. Lighting houses and the streets, like when you go in Kampala, the streets are full of lights at night, such that you can see where you are going, and the city is beautiful. Number 2, so electricity is used for cooking. So it's used in cooking food. And also boiling water. And also boiling water using cookers, heaters, and so on. So also electricity is used in operating machines. Operating machines, like right now I'm using a machine, and this machine is using electricity. So it's a computer, you are also using a phone, so you need electricity. Once it is the power is off, you charge, so you are using electricity to operate various machines at home, like televisions, like cookers, like ovens, like washing machines, and very many others, and even some machines in some factories. Number 4, electricity is used for heating homes, especially those people who live in cold countries, those countries that have snow. At night they need warmth because it is very cold. They can die because of coldness, so they charge their blankets. They have heaters, they have warmers, so to heat their homes. Even when you're a farmer and you're having a brooder, so instead of using charcoal to provide heat, you just use electric heaters to provide heat within the brooder. Then number 5, it is used for protection or making security fences. So it is used in making security fences. Used in making security fences. Now, used in making security fences, as you can pass by, you see second, the word written there, danger, don't touch. So why? We are now protecting our property, because now things can jump over the fences, but because the fences are electric, so they can be shocked, then they can die or they can run away. So electricity is very, very, very useful at home. Oh, good of you. Now let us look at also the advantages. Now sometimes some students, some candidates answer this question wrongly. When they ask uses of electricity, then they give the advantages of using electricity. Now the good things of using electricity, not the uses. What do we use electricity for? But now those are the uses. But now when they say advantages of using electricity, because we have other things that can provide us with heat, like a charcoal, firewood, then we have other things we can use to cook, like a gas, we can use also firewood and charcoal. But now we are looking at the advantage or the advantages of using this electricity over these other means of cooking. Then let us see this one. Electricity is quick or it is very fast. Electricity is quick or fast. Electricity is quick or fast. Now when you are preparing a tea and you are using charcoal stove, you have to light the charcoal stove, then it is taking time to blaze, then you see. But again, when I'm preparing my tea, I just put the plug in a socket, I switch on in a percolator. Within minutes it is ready, I take. So it is very quick or it is very fast. Number two, it is clean and smokeless. Electricity is clean and smokeless. Now, like those people in villages who use firewood, they even produce mucus, they produce tears, they get red eyes, they are fighting with the firewood. But me with electricity, I don't produce any smoke, meaning that I'm not contaminating, I'm not polluting the environment, as well as I'm going to come out when I'm clean. Now look at those people who use firewood. They come out when they are dusty, they have dust in their faces, they have to blow in so that the wood lights. So, but electricity doesn't have those. It is just clean and smokeless. Then another, it is environmentally friendly. It is environmentally friendly. Environmentally friendly, meaning that it does not pollute the environment like these other means of forms of energy. So another, it is easy to operate. It is easy to operate, like even a petri child can switch on and cooks food, boils water. But again, if now you are using firewood or charcoal, you may find these kids getting burnt. So lighting a charcoal stove is not easy, lighting a fireplace is not easy, but electricity, it is very easy to operate. So those are the advantages of electricity. However, everything which is good, it has also the bad thing. Now let us try to see dangers of electricity. Now let us look at some dangers of electricity. I think you have seen these scenarios at home, whereby even some of you you fear to use electricity. Recently I had my friend called Jonathan. I was shocked by electricity. He was trying to repair the TV at home. Then electricity, he was shocked narrowly to death. So electricity has some dangers. Now let us see the first danger here. Although you say city at danger, but electricity is so dangerous. Please don't play with it. 1. Electric shocks and burns from contact with live wires. You can get them. So electric shocks, it results into electric shocks and burns. So it can burn you and burns. Then number 2, you can get injuries from exposed live wires. Then it is expensive. So it is very expensive to install in buildings. So electrical installation is very costly. Then another, electricity is not reliable. Today's own event has gone. Imagine you're watching your movie, then it has caught up. Then from nowhere, out of the blue, power off. It is not reliable. So electricity is not reliable. Electricity is not reliable. Electricity is not reliable. Sometimes it goes off, sometimes can come back, comes back late, so those things. So that is all about our first lesson, primary 7, topic number 2, theme, matter and energy. Alright, so from here, let us first get some activity. Number 1 is going to be define the term electricity. Number 2 here. Number 2 says, number 2, let me get my pen. Number 2 is saying, mention the 3 charges or particles found in an atom. Number 3, mention 2 advantages of using electricity. Then number 4, write down 3 uses of electricity at home. Number 5, give 3 examples of appliances that use electricity at home. Number 6, name the negatively charged particles of atoms. Charged particles found in an atom. Number 7, how is electricity environmentally friendly? Alright, you've been a good learner. This has been our lesson number 1, topic number 2, revisionug.com. Please do follow, share and subscribe. We meet in the next